Hello, 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 everybody. I just want to welcome everybody to this actual presentation here, and I am so happy for those that have made the decision to actually show up for this call tonight. It is going to be recorded, so if anyone is listening to this and they have to get off the call or something like that, never worry, because I definitely will have this recorded, and I will actually get it up online as quick as I can. But you guys are here, and I really do appreciate that in more ways than you actually know right now, because this is something that I recently wanted to talk about and wanted to discuss. So it feels really good that there are individuals that have that same interest in making their 2017 a really special time for themselves so that they can accomplish their dreams and goals. So I just want to go ahead and get started because, as I told you, this webinar will only last 37 minutes. 37 minutes. And there's a reason behind 37 minutes, because what I have to say here is going to appeal to certain people on this webinar, and for others it might not. But I want to get to the point and really start to discuss it so that you can see where I'm coming from. So first of all, most everybody on here already knows who I am. But as always, my name is Johnny Campbell, called the Transition Man. Over 17 years of experience as a speaker, delivering over 2,200 presentations, written 6 books, done various social media activities. Been doing all of these things over the course of my career, going into my 18th year as a professional speaker and as an accredited speaker. Had lots of great opportunities. As you know, got put into the Speakers Hall of Fame in 2007, which since then has been a wonderful opportunity for me to share messages around the country, also especially impacting the lives of various individuals, from Toastmasters to various organizations and groups, really just sharing with them a path to their own success. Had a chance to also do presentations and stand on stages with other noted celebrities and authorities. One of my favorite was Seth Godin. So I had a chance to be on the same program with Seth, so that was really cool. I also had a chance to be on the same stage with Marcus Lemonis from The Prophet, which was really cool to be at the same events, presenting at the time on the same stages. It was really awesome to do that, so I had a great time, and I always love showing those photos as well. Now, I want to get to my story here really quick. You know, when I began my career as a professional speaker, for those that don't know, I got let go from my job. My job got phased out, and they terminated basically me and my position. Therefore, I didn't have any more work. And I had a choice. I could have gone and worked in insurance, worked for another company if I wanted to. But I told myself that I could no longer stand for anybody to have the capacity to determine my income, but also to determine my destiny. I got tired of people telling me what I should do based on my skills and my abilities. And the only way to take control of that was for me to go out and become an entrepreneur. I worked over 10 years in the insurance industry. And then after those 10 years, I have spent the last 18 years working for myself as a professional speaker and as an entrepreneur. And during that time, I have seen a lot of really good people fall to the wayside. I've heard a lot of things being said to individuals that supposed to help them be more successful, but in reality, they aren't being more successful. I've watched so many things occur that it has troubled my heart to watch people who have the talent and the ability just not have the support and the encouragement they need in order to get the breakthroughs that they want in their life. And I can remember looking at my career, both now and in the past, and seeing these same behaviors in me that I fight and I struggle with. And so I started to understand that there has to be a way to work through them, and there has to be a way to resolve them. And maybe you can relate to these concepts here, because these are the ones I shared with everybody. Do you find it hard to motivate yourself to do the things you need to be doing? Do you find it even harder if the task is not enjoyable? Do you find your level of motivation at work is low, erratic at best? Do you always put things off until the last minute? Do you feel there's something holding you back from getting to the success that you actually want? Do you wonder why some people seem to pursue everything with immense drive and limitless energy without getting distracted or giving up halfway through? Everything that I'm talking about in this page here is what I've experienced. It's what I have felt. And now I'm a professional speaker, and my job is to stay motivated and engaged. But I started to understand something about myself, and maybe you can relate to this too. Maybe you felt this way as well. Inside of us, there is this great desire to be more, to develop ourselves, and to become more. But these bullet points I pointed out here are things that get in our way. We have good days, we have bad days. Things are more or less driving us, and we're not driving them. And as someone who talks on this subject of how to gain perspective and focus, I've had to reevaluate how I position myself for success, because I experience these same things as well. So when I started to reposition how I thought about things and saw things, my presentations have gotten better. And it wasn't that they were bad before, but I feel a sense of enlightenment now on really how to pull the best out of me and encourage you and empower you with a path that's much more intense and much more probable and likely for you to get what you want out of your life as well. It's all about how we see the world and how we see things. And I started realizing from this one simple idea how to do that. Now, just a while back, I did a TEDx talk. I did a TEDx presentation, and it was a great presentation. I had a really good time with it. It was a lot of fun. For everybody listening to this audio of this webinar, what I'm going to do is I'm going to send you an email note, because I've got everybody that's registered, and I'm going to send everyone a note to my TEDx talk. And I would love for you to watch the talk, comment on the talk, and just, share it with other people, because my goal is to really get this message out that I'm talking about in the TEDx talk, which is what I'm going to be talking about here tonight. I really believe that the idea that I am sharing with you guys here is a true idea that will make a difference in people's lives. Not because it's a new revolutionary idea, but it's an idea that has been around, that we've experienced, and that really does create the level of intensity and desire in ourselves to accomplish our dreams and goals. And I really believe that this idea is what will allow you to have a better 2017 and allow you to accomplish more of your goals, because it will kind of harness your energy in one direction so that you can accomplish the things you want. So let's go ahead and get started with that. The secret to success. Now, many people talk about what the secrets are to success. Lots of books on the secret of success. There's even a story called The Secret. But in every one of those, they leave out a very important secret to success. They leave it out every single time, and they don't talk about it. But it's something that matters. Enemies. Facing the enemies of your success. In my TED Talk, How an Enemy Can Improve Your Life, I discuss the power of an enemy. And I'm not talking about an enemy like in the context of war. So I had someone talk about that earlier. It's not about war. The enemy is this enemy of your success. It could be something inside of you that is the enemy of your success, that sabotages you, that keeps you from getting the breakthroughs. It could be an enemy from the outside. It could be a person, a situation, or a thing that is the enemy of your success. And what we do sometimes is we ignore the enemies. We start to look for the vision. We look at the goals. We look at what's possible, but we don't pay attention to the enemy that is in front of us. There is always an enemy in front of us when it comes to our success. When you look at sports, if you ever watch football, if a person on the offense is running toward the goal line and there's no defense, is it really a touchdown? You need the defense to make the touchdown worthwhile. The defense is the enemy of the offense. If there is no enemy, there is really no success. And whenever you have an enemy that stands in your way of your success, you know that you are pursuing something of worthiness. Both inside of our minds, we can have enemies, and outside. And I started to realize when I thought of success from the context of an enemy, I became more passionate and more hungry to pursue my success, because I realized there was an enemy standing in my way, and I had to prepare myself not for success, but for the enemy which stands in the way. That's what I realized. That was the big breakthrough, was that we talk about developing the right mindset for success. We talk about tools, we talk about all these things, but we never talk about the enemy. And everyone has an enemy to their success. I want you to think about it for a moment here. If you've ever said to yourself, I'm going to show them, I'm going to prove them wrong, I'm going to show them that I'm a different person, I'm going to make sure it happens. Whenever you're saying those phrases, you're talking about the enemy of your success. And they, whoever they are, is what's driving you. And that's okay. New level, new devil. It's okay to have enemies. It is okay because they push us to be more. You can have a person's support and encouragement, but it is the enemy that drives us. I want you to think about just for a second here, those that have suffered from cancer and sought for a cure. What are they looking at? They're saying to themselves that cancer is the enemy of life. And when we looked at cancer as an enemy of life, we became more righteous. We became more focused. We became more determined. It wasn't about research anymore. It was an enemy of life. And we became more because of that. It is when we cast our life from this context that we grow in passion and resiliency and resolve. There are no conditions to our success when we know there's an enemy standing in the way of us. We are determined to do what is necessary to win. So I've come to realize as a professional speaker that my job is not to teach people how to be successful. My job is to teach you how to face the enemies of your success so you can win. It is helping you get past and defeat the enemies of your success. That's the value that I bring to each and every one that listens to me. Each and every one that I've coached and helped become a professional speaker. We all have these enemies that we face. And it takes someone to be with you and walk with you in this journey to help you get the breakthroughs that you want. Because those enemies are there, both real and sometimes just in our heads. But they're there. And we have to protect ourselves and do the things necessary to defeat those enemies so we can enjoy the success that we deserve. So let's talk about some reality things here. Understanding the weapons of your enemy. Doubt is the enemy of confidence. In each and every one of our lives, we have doubt, and doubt is the enemy of confidence. If you ever experience a feeling of doubt, you must build up your confidence. How do you get more confidence? You can defeat doubt with having clarity. Clarity and understanding about what you are doing starts to build your confidence and starts to help you defeat doubt. It is there. Doubt will paralyze you from ever getting started. So you got to be prepared. You got to build your confidence and gain more clarity in whatever it is that you want to do with your life, whether it's to be a professional speaker, be an entrepreneur, start your business. You must get more confidence. How do we get confidence? By the things that we read, the people that we associate with, books, coaching. That's how you start to build your confidence. And of course, taking the necessary steps every single day. Worry. Worry is the enemy of capacity. Here's what I mean by that. In life, we don't worry about things that we feel that we are bigger than. When we are bigger than something, we don't worry about it. When we look at our bills and our expenses and they're bigger than our income, we worry. But what should we really be doing to defeat worry? Increasing our capacity, increasing our income, not pulling back. Most people, when their bills get high, they say we need to get on a budget and cut. No, you need to get in line with increasing what you are doing, increasing the activities you are doing. You win when you earn more. You can save your way, but it is a slow battle, and you will get beat up along the way. And there are many people that can talk about how they've saved their way out of debt. But the quickest, most efficient way to get out of debt is to earn more money. It is to develop new skills. It is to grow yourself. That's how you overcome worry, because worry will paralyze you. As a matter of fact, worry is what I've always called negative meditation. If you meditate on the negative things, worry will cripple you. It is so important for you to build yourself up. That's why I appreciate everyone that's listening to this call right now, this webinar. You have to build yourself up so that you can deal with the situations. And it doesn't matter whether it's in your business, in your personal life, in your family life. You got to build yourself up because worry will suffocate you. So you've got to grow bigger than your worries. And it's always about education and training and support and being around people who want to grow and develop. That's how you start to build yourself up. You don't do it in a bubble. The enemies that we fight, and really what the enemy wants from us, it wants us to stay by ourselves and stay isolated. It doesn't want us to get around people who have a big vision, who see things in a bigger way. The enemy of your success is trying to keep you small. That's why it's so important for you to build yourself up. That's why enemies inspire us at the same time. Because if they're trying to keep us small, that's our signal. We got to get big. Fear is the enemy of certainty. Anytime in your life when you experience fear, it's because of a lack of certainty. Fear wants to take away your sense of certainty. But in our lives, we can create more of a sense of certainty. We can defeat fear by taking action on things, by doing things. Here's your simple formula for fear. If you want to defeat fear and have more sense of certainty, it comes down to your faith, your expectations, your actions, and your resolve. That's how you start to defeat the enemy of fear. It is your faith. It is your expectations of what you want to see happen. It is your actions, the things that you do, and your personal resolve and resiliency. That's how you start to defeat that enemy that we call fear. Fear wants you to stay where you are. It wants you to question every single thing. But you have to move with a sense of certainty, of destiny. You have to have the attitude that your time is now. And what I realized was when I started to see in my mind that these were the enemies of my own success, I started to get serious about succeeding in this world. I said to myself, I understand who the enemy is now. And now I understand how to prepare myself to deal with the enemy. Education and training, mentorship, coaching. I started to understand that these were my way to deal with the enemy so that I could accomplish all the goals that I wanted. The idea that I'm sharing here is that everyone has these enemies and we ignore them, and that's why we get stuck and self-sabotage and we don't get where we're going because we never focus on the enemy, the thing keeping us from accomplishing the goal. We're always looking at all the other stuff, but we're never looking at the thing that's keeping us from getting our personal breakthroughs. So when I started to focus here on dealing with the enemies in my own life, I started to see massive results in my life. I started seeing myself accomplish things I never thought I could accomplish, all because I took my mind away from the goal and put it on the enemy. I said, I've got to not think about the goal I want to accomplish. I've got to think about the enemy keeping me from it. The enemy, once again, can be a situation in your life. It could be a person that's negative, that's keeping you from accomplishing your goals, or it could be a thing, something you are struggling with. An enemy is not just a person. It could be a situation, a person, or a thing. But you got to know what it is. Because once you know what it is, then you can invest in the tools and the trainings and the strategies to deal with it. One of the first things you should be doing is getting around people who are fighting through those enemies in their own life to accomplish the goals that they want. And you want to be around people who can admit that there are enemies to their success and that it's not crazy, but it's the truth. We have them, and we have to prepare ourselves. So some of the questions here that people will always ask: why some people fail and others succeed? Most people think it's this. Most people think people fail and some succeed. But most people think that people fail because they have no vision, no goals, or no deadlines. That's why they think people will fail at things. But that's not true. That is not necessarily true. Because I have watched people who have poor vision, no goals, and they're late all the time, and they're rich, and they're successful. And it blows my mind. It is a contradiction to everything that I would believe to be true. And I'm not talking ill of them, because they have accomplished things that I personally have not accomplished. But I try to understand the pieces and parts behind everything. I want to understand why they're so able to do this. So as you dig deeper past the visions, the goals, and their sense of deadline of getting stuff done, you get to find your why. So I thought to myself, well, maybe it's their why. Maybe that's why they're so successful, because they found their why. We've heard people say, find your why and the how will follow. We've heard that before. But their why is no good. Their why is full of excuses. My why was full of excuses. Why I couldn't do something, why I couldn't accomplish something, but then why I wanted to accomplish something and why it mattered to me. I found myself struggling with my why. And I said, why cannot be the source? We have to go deeper. But then I came to this realization, why most people fail. Most people fail because they lack emotional integrity to their desired outcome and goal. I want you to think about that for a moment. They lack emotional integrity to the goals and the dreams they want to accomplish. It sounds good that they want to accomplish these goals. It sounds like they want to have these things in their life. It sounds like people want to do these things, but they lack the emotional integrity to get it done. And I realized what that meant. I said, my goodness, you can no, who would say that they don't want to be successful in life? Who would say they don't want to have healthy kids, a healthy life, wonderful, wonderful relationships? Who wouldn't want that? But if there's no emotional integrity toward it, it is difficult for that to happen. See, intellectually, success and being successful, who wouldn't want that intellectually? But when we get down to the truth of what really matters, this is where most people fall short. They lack the emotional integrity to do what is necessary in a consistent manner to be successful. So how in the world do we get this emotional integrity up so that we are doing without anyone else's around watching us, we're able to accomplish these things? What drives us? At the root of your success, what drives us is an enemy. That's what drives us. Someone or something or situation. That's what really gets you up and fired up to be successful. Something you want to prove to yourself. You say, I'm going to prove to myself that I can do this, and I'm going to overcome the enemy that's in my way. Or you say to yourself, I'm going to prove this to other people, that I am this way. I'm going to prove it. Or I have something I want to protect. I want to protect this. I don't want anything to happen to this. That could be your family, your spouse, your loved one, relatives, something you want to protect. If you want to accomplish your goals are going to be driven by you at the core, saying, I want to prove something to myself, I'm trying to prove it to other people, or I'm trying to protect something. Now that sounds like something people have not really heard that often, but we say it to ourselves all the time. Anyone that you have seen who is against all odds become successful, they are driven by these points that I'm showing on the screen right now. This is what's pushing them. It's not to save the world. It's not to accomplish all these wonderful things. Do they want to accomplish them? Yes. But what drives them? What gets them up in the morning and causes them to have the necessary emotional integrity to do what is necessary every single day? They want to prove themselves they can do it. They want to prove it to other people, or they want to protect something. You think about your life for a moment. There's an enemy to your success, something that stands in the way of your goals and your dreams. Who do you want to prove that you can do it? Who are you trying to prove it to? Yourself? To other people? Or are you trying to protect something? It is important for us to think about that, because those are the driving forces that push us toward excellence. You would think it would be other reasons that we would get pushed. But when you talk to people, when you really listen to people and they give their story of struggle to success, they always talk about how people doubted them, how people questioned them, how they wanted to show everybody that they weren't the loser that everyone thought they were. Or they say, I wanted to protect. I got rich because I wanted to protect myself from poverty. That's the truth. They were fighting these enemies. And these enemies that they knew were in front of them, they said, I'm going to use one of these three areas as the driving force to help me deal with the enemies of my success. I know what's keeping me down. I know what's in my way. And I'm going to use this energy from my proving myself. And it sounds, once again, a lot of people don't really think about it, but at their heart of heart, this is what you're doing. The successful people, this is what they do. And that's why they can get up at 5 in the morning and go to the gym. That's why they keep going. That's why they protect their families. That's why they take care of their families. Because they want to prove something. We always tell ourselves, you don't have anything to prove. Yes, you do. You have something to prove to yourself. Because the more things you prove to yourself that you can do, the more confident you will become. The bigger your capacity will be, and the less fear you will have. The more you prove to yourself. And when you prove to others, it's not about going up to them saying, I'm showing you wrong, but it's about proving it. It's about saying, I protected everything that I loved. That is what gives you power. When you find out what the enemy is that stands in your way and you say, I'm going to do this no matter what, now you have emotional integrity. Now you are pushing towards your dreams and goals. A little phrase here that I love. There will always be haters, doubters, and non-believers, and then there will be you proving them wrong. This is very powerful for me. I believe what I'm speaking about now, find your enemy and win, I believe that it's going to be the next big thing. Nobody talks about it, but I'm talking about it. And I believe that this is the one element of success that people have left out. That's why I want you guys so badly to share this video of mine when you watch it. I'm going to send it to everybody. You watch it and you share it with other people, because I'm telling you, what I've noticed is that this is that lost idea that we all know, we all intellectually understand, and it secretly has been driving a majority of us to our success. It's an idea that's worth sharing again. It's an idea that's worth you adopting again, to find the enemy of your success. Then work your plan against the enemy. Say, I'm going to overcome this enemy because I know what it's doing to me. And I'm going to work my way through it. Setting expectations and standards. Here's one of the classic quotes when it comes to this thing about success. The definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over and expecting a different result. Well, I don't really agree with that. I took time, I really thought about it. The definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting it to remain the same. When people do things over and over and over again, they're not looking for a different result. What they're looking for is everything to stay just like it is. Well, I got some news for everybody. Things get old and people either get better or they get worse. But nothing stays the same. Insanity is truly doing the same thing over and over again and expecting everything to stay the same, because it won't stay the same. Because there's always going to be a new enemy in your life. There's always going to be someone challenging you for the victories that you want in your life. So you have to be prepared for those things. You have to prepare yourself so that you can be ready for that moment. In your job, in your career, think about it for a moment. When there's a promotion, it's not a promotion for 20 people. It's a promotion for one person. And you want to be that person. So everyone you're competing against is not your friend. I'm not saying you do mean and evil things to people, but it's important to understand that an enemy, when they're thought in that way, will inspire you to be better and to do greater things. Because you know your enemy's not resting, so why are you? You know your enemy's plotting to keep you from accomplishing your goals, so you know you got to keep working on them. Use the concept and the idea of an enemy as inspiration for your motivation. Use the idea of an enemy as a way to instruct you on how to push forward in your life and win. One of the things here when it comes to setting goals, to achieve goals, there must be standards. I hear people talk about goals a lot. One thing that I'll tell you about goals is that if you're going to accomplish a goal in your life, you have to set standards. But what standards do I set? The standards normally would be standards that are set to accomplish the goal. But the standards you have to set are the ones that will help you overcome the enemy of your goal. Whatever the enemy is doing to you, you have to have standards that are better than the enemy's. You have to prepare yourself. You have to set yourself up to do the things that you need to do every single day. In other words, we're proving ourselves. We're proving ourselves, whether to ourselves or to other people, or we're trying to protect ourselves. But our standards are designed to help us overcome the enemy of our success. When we set standards so that we can overcome the enemy of our success comes to us. It happens because we know things will happen. That's why we set standards, so that we will keep going every single day. Another example here. When it comes to your success, and this is something I want you to think about. Sometimes when it comes to being successful, you're in the wrong place. You can't grow corn in the desert. You got to go where corn can grow. It's hard to grow corn in the desert. And I tell people that over and over again because I want you to think about that. If I want to grow the best corn possible, I'm going to Indiana or Iowa. I'm not going out to Arizona in the desert. You got to be where your opportunities are. When you're not where your opportunities are, it is hard to be successful. And sometimes in our lives, when we are in a place, we are successful. But if the environment shifts and the environment changes, your skills, your abilities will no longer be appreciated. You have to be consciously thinking that I must go where the environment where I can be successful. It's not about sitting around hoping for the best or praying for rain. It's about going where the rain is. It's about going where your opportunities are. They're going to be enemies to your success, and at times you're going to have to understand that where you're fighting, it ain't worth fighting. And you got to move. You got to step over to a new place where the environment is rich for your skills and your abilities. Sometimes people ask me about purpose in life. They ask me about destiny in life. And I always tell them the same thing. Your purpose in life is to serve others with your gifts and your talents. But your gifts and talents only can work in certain environments. Your gifts and talents do not work everywhere. You have to go where your gifts and talents are appreciated and saluted. And if you're in an environment where your gifts and talents are no longer being appreciated and you're not in charge, you need to be looking for where people will pay you for your gifts and your talents. If you're in business and you're doing business a certain way and you're getting by but you're not making it, you need to look for a new environment, a new place where new opportunities are, so that your skills and abilities can be appreciated. It's about development of your skill set and growing what you are as an individual. I never want a person to change. I just want them to be a better version of themselves. And sometimes our enemies reveal that. Where we are is not where we should be. So that's why enemies inspire us and keep us moving. Answer some questions here. Do you find it hard to motivate yourself to do the things that you need to be doing? The reason it's so hard is because you have not identified the thing that is keeping you from accomplishing your goals. The enemy. You have to find them. Do you find it harder? Do you find it even harder, the tasks that are unenjoyable? There are tasks that we will have to do to be successful, but if we are out to prove to ourselves, to others, or to protect, we can get through it. Do you find your level of motivation at work is low or erratic at best? It's environment. You're in the wrong environment. It shouldn't be erratic at best. You should be doing the things that bring you joy and fulfillment. And if where you're working doesn't do it, you need to look. I didn't say quit. You need to look for where there's a new opportunity. Do you always put things off until the last minute? A lot of people do this. The thing about it is this. It's don't put things off to the last minute because the best you cannot be seen. We have to prioritize those things that are urgent versus those things that are important. How do we get ourselves in alignment? The things that give the most impact to your life are the things you should be doing. When it comes to setting goals, you set a goal that allows you to accomplish another goal and another goal. You don't set goals in silos. You set goals in strands so that everything accomplishes everything else. When it comes to timelines, the same thing. You do the things that create the most impact in your life first, the biggest difference. Do you feel sometimes Do you feel there are some things holding you back from getting the success you want? That's the enemy. You have to understand who the enemy is, what it is, and then you train yourself to deal with that. That could be doubts, worries, fears, procrastination. It could be comfort and ease that's keeping you from being progressing. You have to prepare yourself. Do you wonder why some people accomplish these things and stay focused? It's because they're moving based on an enemy they want to overcome, and they're trying to prove something to themselves or to other people, or they're trying to protect something. That's how they stay focused, because that energy from having an enemy is what is driving them. It is what is pushing them, because they don't want things to happen to them, so they're going to do what is necessary to win. And that's all I want from everybody listening here, to do the things necessary to win in your life. But you got to know who you're dealing with, and you got to know who you're fighting against. You don't get in life what you want, you get in life what you are. So if you are someone who is really saying to yourself, I'm going to make 2017 the best year because I'm going to defeat the enemies that stand in the way of my success, then you have an opportunity here to do something special in 2017. You have a chance to win because now your mind will be focused on the enemy and not the success. Success is a byproduct. Victory is a byproduct. No one is in sports. No one is looking at the end zone at first. They're looking at the defensive players on the other side who are going to hit them. That's who they're looking at. You got to look at what's coming at you first. You got to face your life where your life is and say, this is where I'm at. This is where I'm starting. These are the enemies of my success, and I'm going to work through them to achieve my goal. But I'm going to face off on my debt. I'm going to face off on my conflicts. I'm going to face off on my bad relationships. I'm going to face off on them first. So then I can have this wonderful thing that every book has told me I can have in my life. Eternal bliss and happiness and joy. Those are byproducts because you have overcome the enemy. Now I know on this call I've said a lot. I've talked about a lot. I've shared a lot here. And the reason that I've shared so much is because I really wanted to help each and every one on here get something from this. And as I said before, we're at the end here of this webinar here. I only wanted to go 37 minutes. I'm right about that time right now. But I wanted to share these ideas with you, and I want to share something else with you here really quick, if you will allow me. Because I feel so passionate